You guys think I'm busy? Well, I got somebody who's probably way busier than I am. Gerald Webb is next.
You are tuned in to Black Hollywood Lives. Breaking into.
You want to rap?
Are you going to rap? You want to bust the raps? Go ahead, do a little freestyle.
Yeah, that beat it got me hyped. I'm ready to go. Let's get it in.
Because this is Black Hollywood Live, not White Hollywood Live, not Latino.
But I'm not going to rap because I get cast in enough stereotypical roles, so I'm not going to step into the rap one.
But you do play cops too, so that's something else too. Hi, you guys. Welcome to another edition of Breaking Into here on Black Hollywood Live. I'm your host, James Lott Jr. And of course, I'd like to bring you great guests. And this guy, I mean, he is a multi-hyphenate. I thought my hyphens went on and on, but your hyphens go over too. He's done casting, director, actor, writer, producer. He does films, TV. I mean, he just and obviously raps also on the side. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad to bring you this gentleman, Gerald Webb.
You just made me tired of listing all that stuff.
Exactly.
I'm just honestly, we have all these hyphens. At the end of the day, it's filmmaker.
Yep,
because if you're a real filmmaker, you probably do all of those jobs at some point in the process.
Well, not everybody does though. I've had guests on here, everybody does. Some people do just one thing.
Must be nice, man. They must be really talented.
But here's my question, though. It's like, so for me, I've always been a person who does multi-things. Are you the same way, kind of? Are you always a person who likes your tentacles and stuff?
I don't like to necessarily do, like, 50 things on a job, but I've always had two sides to my brain that I was very in touch with. Like most people that I meet, they're either really in touch with their artistic side and maybe not so much as in with their business side or vice versa. I've always really been in tune with both, and throughout my career in a lot of the industries that I've worked in, for whatever reason, both sides have had to be tapped significantly that have kind of helped me have the success that I've had.
Yeah, because we're going to do each. Actually, I separated to each different category. That's what I do with you. You probably have to come back on the show like several times to cover everything.
We'll just make a new show, Black Hollywood Live. Gerald Webb's third job, fourth job.
See, there you go. He's already producing already. Jeez, you're worse than I am producing. I love it. Now here's the thing. So I'm going to start actually with the acting.
Okay.
And I'm going to show a little clip of something that's yours. You've done a bunch of different roles, and this is like we're just show a few of this.
Oh, you found the old role.
Yeah, I did. We got to show because you've been around for a while.
Spread your legs. What we got here? Solicitation and possession.
You're very convincing as a cop.
Thank you.
Listen to me. I'm just trying to get this kid off the street, all right?
Sure, you're going to send her to trade school. She's going to learn how to type.
And you're good at being smarmy.
Frank Gomez, he runs your vice squad, right? You give Frank a call. You can vouch for me. William Banks.
Of course.
He's not on the premises.
It's like you have to cut your teeth and be on this show at some point.
Yeah, in New York, they say if you haven't been on a Law and Order, like you're not an actor. So.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, everybody's been on there.
Where's Lewis?
You know where he is? You should have jumped.
I never liked him.
That's why you jumped.
So you always gotta play that kind of. There's some humor in there.
I quit.
Everybody used to think that was from Lost. It's like from this independent film, yeah.
I just might do that.
There you are.
Con, engine room. We lost power to the turbine generator.
Did you see this stuff? You make you laugh. Like, oh my God, I did all this stuff. I did
I've been
this.
trying to erase some of this from the internet.
This is good stuff. Look at that.
Wow.
Blast Godzilla's ass.
That's right. I love it. I love it because I want to show because you really. I mean, it's your past. Obviously, it's yours. But it's like you've done so many different things, and for a black actor, this is Black Hollywood Live. For a black actor, that's. I mean, congratulations. That's amazing. Even the stuff you may be like, oh, I don't care for that so much, but still, you did it.
Well, thank you. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not one for excuses. But in my life as a minority, I've had to work really hard, sometimes in most cases harder than others, to get the same treatment. So rather than use that as a crutch or as a complaint, that's just helped me be good at what I do. It's helped me learn multiple jobs. It's helped me learn how to be successful and bring something to the table to other partners and other people that I work with that maybe other people don't. So for me, it was really easy for me to transition from acting into producing, because in other industries I had been in a position where as a performer I had to produce events in order to move up in the chain.
Yeah.
So that's just been my experience. Like I said, I don't really complain about it. I don't really use it as a crutch. If anything, I'm thankful that it's made me work a little harder, put a little more effort into it, and be better at what I do to have a little bit of success.
You said something a second ago that I want to touch on is that because you're an actor, has that made you a better producer, writer, and as it informs your work in other ways?
Well, I think yes. I think it informs both ways. So first off, for any actor out there, I suggest go be a PA, get a job working on a shoot as a PA or as a production coordinator, or whatever job they'll let you do, and do as many of the different jobs on set as you can, because you find out really quickly as the actor that it's not about you. It was never going to be about you. Like, the whole machine is so much bigger that when you come to it having that knowledge, I come on set as an actor prepared to deliver, because I know every minute that machine's not running, that camera, I'm wasting somebody's money, and it's not a little bit, it's a lot of money the bigger the show is. So it just teaches me to really be a professional on that side of it. So it kind of crosses both ways. As an actor, yeah, it helped because I had been on sets. I knew how they ran. Honestly, when I first started getting on sets, I didn't know what every job was. I didn't know what I was like, what the heck's a gaffer do? And what, now, I don't even think about all that stuff, but I would ask, or I would look it up, and I would read, and I would try to be educated on what those people's positions are, so that if in any place in life, if there's understanding between you and the people that you work with, and you can get into their world at least a little bit and understand what they're doing, you can create a different level of respect. You can create a better work environment, and you can create better relationships.
I like that, because I think you just said something that I've learned in other industries where you say you should learn how to make coffee or how to copy things. It's the same principle. It's like, know what goes on around you, and then you can actually appreciate that staff more too.
Yeah. Well, give you a perfect example. It's so funny you mentioned coffee. We just wrapped a feature literally about a week ago, and we had one of our leads. It was the last day we were shooting, our last scene, and it was literally close to the end of the day. We were probably one shot away from wrapping for the day. So they had started to break down Crafty, and most of Crafty was broken down. We were ready to get out. Yeah. And one of our leads asked for coffee, and there was no coffee ready. So guess who went and got coffee? Fortunately, we were literally filming at a shopping center up in Simi Valley. Okay. So I just went and got coffee. So even with the producer title, I still get coffee occasionally, because I wanted I was grateful because this actor specifically had busted his behind and really worked really hard for us. His name's Adam Huss. Adam Huss. He's from the show Power. Okay. But he had worked really hard for us and just had a great attitude the whole show. And I was like, I would have done it for any actor pretty much, but for him, I was like, let me just go out of my way to go do it myself, because this guy did a good job for us and has continued to be a trooper for us. You
seem really nice and everything off camera, and I think it's something that must be, in relation to you, because you're a producer and actor working on sets, that must be something that must be really important when you want to work with people you like, right? For the most part, you spend a lot of time with.
Yeah, it's nice to have that as a luxury. At the end of the day, I need people that are professional and do their job first and foremost. If I like them, that's great. Right. I honestly think sometimes being liked is a very good thing, but you also have to deliver. Because if I like you and you can't act, I'm not hiring you as an actor or as a gaffer if you can't gaff or whatever. So you have to be professional and do the job. And I think being liked is a good luxury and tool to have. Okay. But I also think sometimes in Hollywood, a lot of people get jobs because they're liked, and they're not really necessarily professional or up to the level of the job. And that, for me personally, that's tough. Like, if somebody's working really hard and they just need to learn, I'll help them learn. But sometimes there's people who they get over in life on being nice, and that's great for them, but at the end of the day, I want professionalism and being able to do the job first. Now, don't be nasty either, because nasty is the fastest way to be right about the door as quick as possible. And people will ask me, and I won't say things negative, but I have producers who say, hey, I saw you work with this person. You hired this actress, this lead actress. How was it? And I won't throw them under the bus, but I'll be honest and say I probably wouldn't hire her again.
That's all you need to say, folks. That says enough. But I don't need to be nasty about that. That says say him too, him or him. But you saying that's enough shade right there. No, I worked on House one season, and I did some guest acting on that. This was years ago. I give actors a lot of respect. I don't want to be an actor. It's a lot of work. But there was an actor on the show who couldn't get this one scene. They had an acting coach on. It took forever, but he was super nice. And now I'm trying to apply what you said to them, thinking maybe they shouldn't have given him that. Maybe they should have said at some point, because it went on for a long. That's like a long time.
It's tricky. I don't know why this guy got that job, what I'll say, there are times where there are certain, the job of an actor, and I have so much respect for anybody who comes out here and pursues it, because 98% of the people in the world now want to do it, and none of them ever come out and do it. So anybody who had the courage to come, leave everything they know and come here and try it, I don't care if it's for a week, a month, or a year, or a whole career, I have an immense amount of respect for that. So there are times where, as a job, my job as an actor primarily is to go to all the places that most people run from. They don't want to see me, really the audience doesn't want to see me succeed. They want to see me struggle for 49 minutes and then in the last 2 minutes miraculously succeed. So my job is to let them see all of this struggle, all of this heartache, now I have to attach it to things that are real in my life. And you don't know, the audience may not know what those things are, but sometimes it's very difficult, and it really just depends. So yeah, there may be times where for an actor it takes them a little longer to get to something. So I'm careful not to judge, because I don't know that situation. If it was, if you told me, well, this actor came and he was unprepared and had a bad attitude and didn't know his lines and treated everybody like garbage, even like then I'm like, all right, you probably shouldn't do that. But even then I'm like, okay, well, who is he playing? Some people are very method, so they go to a place that's, I've had some roles where I'm like, I say to my business partner, listen, when I arrive on set, I'm not me. I'm this dude.
Oh, okay.
And I've even said to him specifically on one movie where I had to deal with the death of my wife, the murder of my son, like these high stakes. I said to him, hey, when I'm on set, pretty much I'm gonna be in this space this whole day or that whole day. So limit who interacts with me. Whoever has to interact with me, cool. But like, just make sure people know it's not regular run up and go, hey, what's up, Gerald Day?
Yeah,
like,
you're very nice.
That's not today, because they're gonna say that to me, and I'm gonna just look at them like,
because you're in. Oh wow, that's interesting. Now, on a day like that, because you're very funny. That's also what I'm talking about. But on a day like that, though, how do you come out of it?
Well, that's the thing, man. Like, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you carry it home. Sometimes you carry, I've had things where I came out of it, and off and on for a couple of weeks, I would have those thoughts, though, because I had to go to very personal things and deal with things. So, the funny thing is, if acting is very therapeutic, and it can be in a good way or a bad way, depending on how you handle it. And it's going to be that. That's our job, is to, the audience may not know that I'm going to one of my personal tragedies, whatever it be, someone that I lost that has passed away, or a breakup that I had, or, something, I was the victim of an assault with a deadly weapon in real life. Like, do I go to the fear and the energy and the pain and all that I went through with that? They might not know which of those things I'm going to, but the audience can tell if it's real or not. If my emotion is real, they assign it to the circumstances that we paint in the script and on the screen, but they can tell if I'm going real or if I'm just faking it.
The camera does not lie.
No, and
it really doesn't.
And it's there forever.
Right.
Forever. Like, it's not going to be watched once. If people aren't sure, let me back that up and watch it again. Sometimes people may watch, like, I've watched something where I'm trying to figure out this scene, and I watched that scene 3, 4, 5 times just in a regular show that I watch.
Right. Right.
So when you think I have a better insight on whether I believe that person the first time, the second time, the third time?
I like that.
So
I like that. That's cool. He's been in things with folks like Criminal Minds, Battle of L.A., NCIS L.A., Stalker, which I love. Stalker is one of my shows I liked. Workaholics, which is just either ended or ending, right? Is it ending?
Yeah, they just ended, man. I was so happy to do an episode of it.
What a great show. If you guys haven't watched it, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, just crazy. What I like is that it was, 3 guys got together and wrote it, and then they put the show together and get out there. It's very much like I did It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia as well.
Another one,
and which is like my hometown is Philly and South Jersey, so that was great. But the same thing, like 3 guys just kind of said, hey, let's do this, and it's the longest running show right now, so I love it.
I know. And I saw your tweet about that. I was like that. You also did an episode of Franklin and Bass, which I love that show.
I got to do a one-on-one scene with Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. You're like Clockwork Orange. It's crazy. Just let alone.
And the funny thing is, I didn't really watch that show prior to auditioning for it, and then usually when I audition for something, I'll watch a couple episodes of the show just to get a feel for it. And then I watched the show and I realized, whoa, I'm going in for an audition for this role that guy's played by Malcolm McDowell. That's pretty cool. So that's like super cool.
Yeah, no, it is.
So
also you worked with Chevy Chase.
Yes.
And Christmas in Vermont.
Yes, I just worked with Chevy Chase last year.
It's like, what was that like? He's another legend too.
Honestly, Chevy and his wife, Janie, are just are pretty cool. And we actually had his daughter in the film too. We put her in a little small role in the film. He was just great. Just to. Those are those moments that are surreal, like working with him, working with Danny DeVito in a scene on It's Always Sunny.
Yeah.
In some ways, like. We're on Black Hollywood Live, so like I don't know an African American actor or actress out there that's not like, yeah, one day when I do my scene with Denzel, like that's totally real.
Right.
That you're gonna do a scene with Denzel one day, right? So it's like every black actor I know is like, yeah, when I do my scene with Denzel, and I'm for real though, I'm gonna do my scene with Denzel. I'm serious. I'm gonna do a scene with
you.
Denzel.
I believe.
But no, but I think every actor, what's funny is like for some reason in my mind, Chevy Chase and like Danny DeVito were kind of like these impossibilities.
Yeah.
Like I just never thought of them as. I never said that it was impossible, but I never thought of it as possible until it happened.
Right.
So it was a really good lesson for me to go, dude. I work in Hollywood. I produce and I act in major films and television shows. So I could work with anybody. Like tomorrow, I could work with anybody who is not dead. Like I missed out on doing a scene with Prince and Michael Jackson.
Oh my God, yes.
And but tomorrow I could be on a scene with Ed Asner or Idris or whoever. You know what I mean? So it was a really good lesson for me. But it was a lot of fun in a Christmas movie, which we kind of produce a lot of those now. So it was a lot of fun
for him. So I interviewed Ed Asner. So I'm talking about a dream. Like again, didn't grow up thinking I would do that. And it was a dream for me. And then it was my show. I mean, it was a dream for me. So it's like, but it's weird. We put these restrictions only because we grew up at a certain time, and we are of color. So we kind of go straight to black stuff. Maybe we don't think about the larger picture. Like one day I work with Clint Eastwood. Like one day I work with something like you totally could.
But it's weird because for me, there were certain people that I just never thought about working with, like those guys. Like in my mind, I've always like Unforgiven is one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's a good one.
And so I was always like, yo, like that's the dude I want to work. So that's like a target. That's like a goal, like to work with that guy and to see. I'm actually in the middle of writing a Western that we're going to produce.
Okay.
And it's a female-driven revenge Western, and it's going to be ridiculously inspired by all the spaghetti westerns, which are all Clint Eastwood, and they're going to and Unforgiven and a bunch of other westerns that I love. So there's this weird thing where for a minute, even here's the deal, man. My whole life, my life now, is something that wasn't what was supposed to be. My dad was a television repairman. He owned two little businesses that do television repair. Like what life was really spelled out for me was take over the family business, or maybe go to college and get my degree and be a gym teacher or an accountant, or maybe just be blue collar and work somewhere doing something else blue collar, and nothing wrong with any of that. None of my family connections, the history of my family, nobody in my family's creative, like from a standpoint of working in the industry. So what was written out for me was just live in South Jersey or Philly and just have a nice comfortable life. Great, if that's what you want, go for it. But it wasn't what I wanted. So every day, the fact that like I've been in 100+ films and television shows and have produced a dozen+ films and put been a casting executive on close to 100 films and a network television show, all of those things are unbelievable. So my journey in life and the thing that I remind myself of in life every day is, dude, the unbelievable is your life. That's what you live in. Like I have people that I used to look up to are my friends and mentors now.
I'm having that now too. Yes, I'm having that too.
Like it's like, and it started, but that's been my whole life. When I started DJing 20 years ago, like Jam Master Jay, rest in peace, became one of my very close friends and my mentor, and he kind of that started the process of like, dude, anything, and I mean that for the actors out there, the producers out there, the writers out there, the directors, anything is really possible. Don't let your mind tell you certain things aren't.
That's a good lesson. I lived that myself. I mean, I changed my life late in life, so it's like I'm working it. So I'm like, it's just anything can happen. You can do anything.
Congratulations, man! I love it.
Thank you. Also, you mentioned the casting stuff. I want to talk about Sharknado 1 through 3. I mean, you were part of that whole casting process, weren't you? Of that?
Yeah. So those are my cast. Ian Ziering, Tara Reid,
Yeah.
John Hurd. All those first 3 movies, they were all my deals. The leads of those shows were all my ideas. And I was really happy to be a part of something that just we didn't. The truth of it is, I worked for the Asylum for about 5.5 years. And we effectively have made that movie like 15 or 20 times.
Oh,
just
right.
Instead of a Sharknado, it was a giant shark.
Yeah, I remember that.
Or it was
Yeah,
a shark and an octopus.
Yes, octopus,
Or,
yes.
or it was a giant monster from the deep.
Yeah, I remember
it was.
that, yeah.
If you really look at how those movies are structured, it's the same movie.
Yeah, no, it is.
You know what I mean? Something, whether it be a giant shark or a Sharknado, causes havoc all over the world, and some crazy person comes up with an idea of exploding something to break it up.
Yes.
So we had done that all these times, and we thought it would get a lot of press, but we didn't think that like overnight it would become a household word, pop culture, biggest thing for like a 3-year period of time.
Right.
And the funniest thing, the hardest thing was casting at, because before everybody knew what a Sharknado was, as soon as I looked at the script, I told my bosses at the Asylum, I said, guys, I can't get the actors that we want to read the script named Sharknado. So I actually sent my offers out with a new title called Dark Skies. So when they signed their contracts, all their contracts say Dark Skies. Now, we didn't hide that there was a Sharknado, and you got to page 3 and you was like, whoa, there's a tornado full of sharks in this movie.
Okay.
I had to get them to read page 1.
Oh,
and when they read page 1 and page 2, they went, wow, the way this is written, it's written like this $30 million, $40 million, $50 million epic picture with a Sharknado in the middle of it, and now the rest is history.
That is like an interesting story. Never knew that story. That's good, and it is rest is history. I watch all of them. I mean, our boss, Maria Menounos, was killed in one of them.
I hired her for that.
Yes, so she was killed in one of
by
them.
the way, she's amazing and just great. So thank you for having me on, Maria.
Yeah, she's the bomb. I love Maria. So it's kind of funny. So but you did stuff for Sci-Fi Channel anyway, because you also did Z Nation.
Yes, I did. I put the series regulars on the first season, which
Wow.
pretty much were the series regulars for the first 3 seasons. Now, the 2 series leads were my hires and my ideas. So, I've been fortunate to work quickly in a lot of things. Like I started working at the Asylum as a favor to a director named Christopher Ray, and who's now my business partner. Fast forward a bunch of years, but and we own deinstitutionalized films together and produce films all the time. But he was like, hey, I'm directing this movie for this company, and I just can't be in all the casting sessions, and I like your eye. Can you sit in? And I was like, hey, as long as I don't have an audition, I'll help you out. Yeah. And we did the movie, and by the time we got done, the producers, the partners at the Asylum came to me and said, hey, we got another movie starting in like 4 weeks. Would you cast it for us? And it's really a funny story, because it was a moment that I made a decision that I didn't realize what good and what the repercussions of that decision would be. Because my first thought was, whoa, if I get bogged down casting, it's gonna hurt my acting career, and that's what I'd come here to focus on at the time.
Yeah, right.
And I was worried about, I was creating problems that didn't exist really. I was saying, well, what happens when I get an audition and I got auditions set up and I can't, and I almost like said no by creating a problem that didn't exist. And then I finally said, wait a minute. Just do this. You'll make some connections. You'll learn more about the film industry. And if for some reason 3 weeks from now you have auditions set up for the next day and you get a last minute auditions, all it means is you got to get on the phone and call like 2 hours worth of people and tell them, hey, we're moving your time to this time or whatever, the next day or whenever.
Yes, exactly.
Like, that's actually not a problem that even exists yet. And when it does exist, you already know how to deal with it. Yes. So I said, all right, I'll do it. And honestly, my life and my career changed as a result of it.
Good advice. Don't look for problems that aren't there.
Yes.
When it happens, you'll figure it out.
It's one of the major ways we self-sabotage ourselves is go, oh, man, if I do that, this will happen. No, you don't know if that'll happen.
Well, here's the other thing, too. I always say to people, well, if I do this and it doesn't work out, and I always say this, I'm a certified life coach. I always say this, but what if it does?
Well, but here's the thing. Not everything's going to work out, and believe it or not, sometimes your failures are where your greatest successes come from.
I was going to say, sometimes you're not meant for it to work out. There's a reason why it's not working out. But I'm just saying, people go to the negative part always, and I'm like, well, what if it does work out? What if you do book it, or what if it does? What if that tree doesn't fall? You know, I'm always like that, just kind of like just with a counter. I just want to counter people saying negative stuff all the time, going there first.
It's so true. So I just had lunch with Chris Ray, my business partner, and we have a bunch of projects lined up for the next. Basically, our schedule is full for the next till the end of the year.
Okay, see, blessed.
But what's funny is there's other projects floating around that some of them are bigger and more money and bigger names and better deals for us. So it's like, oh, okay, well, he'll say to me, well, what if this happens? I say, well, we move stuff around and figure it out. Like, it's going to be a lot of work and scramble, or we hire some more people, or we, and he literally said to me, hey, this deal's going to go through. So we're probably going to overlap shooting on this film and prep on the next film.
Okay.
And then you know what I said? All right, worst case scenario, we bring an extra person out to New York and we figure it out. And I said, it's not like we haven't done it before. And there was a time when we were scared to death of not having focus on one project. Now we kind of overlap stuff all the time because we have to.
Good time management, good support staff. You can do many things.
Yeah, and just stay open to the possibilities.
Yeah. That's I'm there, and I'm there with you. But I'm just saying, good time management and good support staff can do wonders for all kinds of stuff that you can do. Yeah. And obviously you do that. Roddy, what kind of writer are you?
I am a reluctant writer.
I like that. Okay.
That's where like that's one of those areas where I challenge myself too much on it. So I'm like, oh, it's got to be perfect. So I'll write like 30 pages and then throw them out. And then I'll write like 40 more pages and then I'll like throw half of those out. So scripts take forever to get done because I wrote the script like 19 times before I'll like get close to anything that's like a whole script.
Yep.
And then I'm like, I'll hold on to it and won't let anybody read it. And then I'll put it away and I'll leave it alone for a while and then I'll come back to it and I'll read it and like, oh, this is terrible, and then I'll write half of it over again. Like, so it's like, it's weird. I want it to be perfect, which is like one of those ways that
There's no such thing as perfection. No such thing as perfection.
So it's a weird thing. Yeah. Usually I come in and help kind of fix little things here about, but I don't do a ton of writing. Okay. So there's just a little bit there, and I have a couple projects that, because they're my ideas and I have the story so flushed out, I've just said, okay, I'm going to commit to making sure this. And one's a Christmas movie, and one specifically is the female revenge Western that we're working on. But I'm very reluctant, and I kind of plod away at it, and maybe what I'm writing is great, maybe I don't think it sucks, but maybe it's just okay. But we'll see how it all turns out in the wash.
Well, Christmas movies are big business. TV movies and their big Christmas is in.
We produce a lot of them. We're involved in a lot of them. So and we're good at them. We know how to make them relatively inexpensively and make them look great. So.
I was thinking because of Hallmark Channel, they have their big thing live. So everybody's doing Christmas music.
Hallmark, Lifetime Movie Network, Ion Television. Yes. I mean, it's network after network are now doing it.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, because he's a producer, I tell you, he does all kinds of everything. The first time we got acquainted, we may have met before, we're saying, but the first time we got acquainted was for House Not a Home last year.
Yes.
And you produced that. You actually starred in that. What was that experience like? How was that movie?
Well, being the lead and the producer is a lot of work.
I'm sure there's several hats there.
Very tricky. I had to build a bunch of firewalls, and I would probably build them differently if we did it again.
Okay.
And initially, I wasn't going to be the lead. I was just going to produce. And Christopher Ray, my business partner, who also directed, came to me after we had set a bunch of our cast and goes, I really think you're going to be the best person to do this role. And I went, whoa, stop.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm serious. And I went, all right, let me think about it. So I thought about it, and then I kind of sat down with him and I said, all right, if and only if we do this, these are the parameters that we have to have. And because he was going to be directing on set all the time, I would be acting on set almost the whole time because my character was number one on the call sheet. So I was like, we have to put our line producer, Allison Gosser, in a position to really be prepared to handle all of this.
Yes.
And only come to us with certain things, and make sure we give her more authority, but also set her up to succeed as best we can. And then I just pulled a lot of extra duty. Like if my call time was 7, we had the location locked down 24 hours a day. It was all shot at one location. But if my call time was 7 a.m., I would probably get there at 5. Chris would probably get there at 5, and if we need to talk any business, I'd be like, all right, by 6 o'clock, I want to be done talking business. Then it was my hour to get into space for me to be an actor.
Oh, okay, got it. Yes, okay. You had to compartmentalize it for a second. Okay, now here we are as producers. Now I got to do my job.
Yeah, I can't. It's maybe someone else can do this, but I can't go show you real emotion of me losing my son or my wife being killed in front of me if I'm worried about is lunch going to be here on time today.
Oh, yeah.
Like they just don't. I can do both of those things. Right. I can't do that at the same time. So I had to kind of let somebody else worry about lunch, and if it's late, it's late. Yeah. We'll deal with the person who made it late.
Don't play with lunch. You don't play with lunch.
No, you don't.
You don't play with lunch. You play people's money or lunch.
Yes, that's true.
The two things you don't play with. And that's the thing. Okay, so I mean, like you. I mean, so you're an actor, you're a producer, casting, right? Is there out of all those? I'm not gonna say choose one as your best, but is there one that feels the most natural to you? I feel like a producer seems natural to you, to me.
No, I think that's the interesting thing. I really am equally split between creative and production.
I like that.
So I don't know if I would really be happy just doing one. The combination of the two really works for me, and I really go to do my work on both sides of it. So, as a producer, I have to learn every day. I mean, it's like every time. Years ago, I thought I knew it all and I could just produce. Like, I don't know anything. Like, I learn new stuff every day. I have to be a better producer every day. I have to go learn a new skill every day. And sometimes it's like something pops up and it's like we have a problem, and I'm like, okay, how do we fix it? Oh, okay, we can fix it, but it costs $13,000. All right, how can we find another way around it, or who can we work with that we can learn, and what part of that can we do ourselves without screwing up our movie in the process? And so you learn and you grow, and a big part of it is managing people and being a boss who is fair but firm, and liked but also respected, and all those kind of things. So that's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Yes. And I want to ask you, how is it to delegate for you? Is it easy or hard?
Early on, it was hard because it's tricky. Because one of the things that I learned from my business partner Chris Ray is he's very good at delegating, and if people fail, they fail. We'll fix it. Me, I'm like, I want you to prove to me that you that I have some faith that you won't fail before I give you certain things. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
So it's like, it's kind of, that's part of the reason why we work well together, because there's certain things he'll be like, this, and I'll be like, all right, well, I'm gonna kind of keep an eye on this guy a little bit, make sure this gets done. And then there's other times when it's like, hey, it works out great. I don't have to keep an eye. Like, thanks for having the faith in him, Chris. So it's tricky. You have to delegate. At the end of the day, I don't care if you're a writer, director, actor, if you don't allow other people to contribute to what you're doing, your movie's going to probably stink or not get done, period.
Or not get done. Completion's very important. I ask my guests the same two questions. You guys who watch this all the time, I don't prep them ahead of time unless they watch the previous show and they remember these questions. But I ask the same two questions of every guest. And so, you ready? Okay.
All right.
It's all about language for me. It's all about language. Language can stop you. Language can propel you forward. Language can do a lot for you. So number one, what word in English language do you think we should never say anymore? Or phrase.
The word never.
I like that.
Because everything is possible.
Right.
So
you said it earlier, basically, yeah.
Most people use those words, never, in the family of words that it is born from, to keep from achieving. And even if it's not, like, sometimes people say things like that to you because they care about you. So I remember, like, I told you the idea of me moving to LA and do like any of what's happened in my life and my career was not really feasible or possible. And people who loved, and I know genuinely love and care about me, family, friends, said, quote, be safe, get your education, get a good job, get you a house and a wife.
Right.
Which none of that is necessarily bad advice.
No, not at all.
But be safe doesn't, what I didn't hear in any of that was be happy, be fulfilled, love what you do, live the life you always dreamed of. Like, that's, and one of the reasons is because when they saw Hollywood or film or TV, in their brain, and in most people's brain, something said, that'll never happen.
Right.
So I'll say never.
I like that. That's a good one. I like your explanation too. It's a good one. And now on the converse of that, so what word do you think we should say more of?
I'm going to be all corny. I'm going to say love.
Seriously, it's been said on here before. It's an underrated word, I think. I think people take it for granted.
Well, and I mean, I don't mean romantic love. I mean, like, love what you do, love life, love each other from a standpoint of how we treat each other, love our environment and how we treat our environment. I mean, like, there's so many ways that I think that word can be applied, and love is different than liking, tolerating, dealing with, doing. No, love it. If you love it, and I tell it to everybody, if you're pursuing anything in Hollywood, whether it's acting, writing, producing, directing, whatever it is, if you love it, I say do it with everything you have. I'll give you all the help and advice I possibly can. If you can't tell me that you love it, then I'm gonna tell you, go find what you love and find somebody that can give you advice in that world, because otherwise I think it's a waste of your time and my time. Go do what you love. Period.
Like that.
And I know there's times where you gotta find, but I really believe that if you really get quiet and still enough and listen to your life and your world, whatever it is you love has been speaking to you since you were probably like 10 years old, 5 years old, and you just have to get still enough to hear it, and then get out of the mindset of never people telling you be safe and all the things on not knowing how to get it done and how to accomplish it.
Okay, I am a fan of yours, a new fan, and you're an inspiration. Seriously, you're definitely welcome to come back anytime. You want to promote anything, you're welcome to come back on the show.
Oh, well, thank you.
Seriously, I just think one of the reasons why I want to bring you in is because.
Well, if you have Denzel on, I want to come do a scene with him. I'll do it right here.
I'm all so Denzel. One second, I know this is like my dream, but first here's Gerald Webb. Get in here.
I'll do like the scene from Fences with him. I'll do Viola's part. I'll be like, I've been standing right here next to you.
I love it. It's so funny. Yes, we'll have you on the couch over there. In that camera over there, tell me where they can actually find you in your films and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, you can find me on @GeraldWebb on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook / the Gerald Webb. Please follow all that. That's where I put all my announcements out.
Yeah.
House is Not Home is available on Google Play, Walmart, Amazon are probably the best places to get it. And we have a movie called Circus Kane coming out very soon. So take a look at that.
Good, very good. I'm so excited. You're the best. Breaking Into has a page on Facebook. You go there and like it. Follow his stuff's gonna be on there. My stuff's on there, of course. This episode will be on there. Go to iTunes and go to YouTube. Go to Breaking Into. We're on there also, and follow not just this episode, but all my previous episodes. We have some great guests on this show all the time. And again, follow me at James Lott Jr. on James Lott Jr. on all social media platforms. I'm there everywhere. I will see you guys next time.
From executives Kevin Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us @BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio, Instagram @KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
The views expressed here are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.